Wow, thank you so much. This is such an honor. And before I forget my mom, I want to make sure and say that my parents are here tonight, John and Chris Howard, and I just want to thank them. It's very important to me that they're here tonight because they modeled a home of hospitality, and they never adopted a child, but I can honestly say there's not very many days of my childhood and growing up, even to this day, that they didn't have someone living in their home that needed a place to live, a mom that came from an abusive situation with her 3 kids that needed a home to live in, or a teenager that needed a place to call home because it wasn't going good in her family. But all growing up, we had people that came into our home because my parents opened their home to people who were in need. And no one has cried tonight, and here I go. Anyway, but a little bit about our story. We adopted our son Will when he was 5 weeks old, and you know, from the moment that he came into our home, actually from the moment that we found out about him, he was ours. I swear I had labor pains the night before I went and picked him up from the foster home that he was living at, and you know, he's our child, just like any of our other biological children. And so, you know, I don't think we even thought that much about it. He came into our home, and then a few years later, Rebecca came to us as an exchange student from Taiwan who just never left. She became ours. So we're her American family. And, you know, it's one of those things that you just do. You know, you take care of your family and your children, and they're yours, and you don't think a whole lot about it until you have a TV show that a lot of people watch and a lot of people take notice. And Will doesn't look like us, and Rebecca doesn't look like us, and so a lot of people ask us about them. And, you know, we are proud to lend our voice and to use the platform that we have through Duck Dynasty to talk to other people into bringing children into their home and finding homes for more kids that don't have it. And, you know, I'm just honored and proud to be here tonight and to be able to meet those of you out here, all of you out here that are doing this and are fighting the fight. And, you know, we feel humbled, I think, to be here tonight and to be honored in this way. But thank you so much for having us, and thank you for your example and inspiring us tonight.
This is cool. There's no beard on it, though. There's no hair on this. We'll fix that when we get back to Louisiana. Thank you guys so much. We are humbled to be here. You know, I didn't really know what exactly this was. I'll admit. Corey says, Willie, we're going to D.C. I said, great. And she said, you don't have to wear a suit. The food will be free, and we're talking about adoption. I said, I'm in. Let's roll up here. I'm blown away because I feel just such a kindred spirit, you know, because we have lived this and done this, and I'm so encouraged by so many stories and, you know, policies, and it's encouraging. Coming here with my politician friends, it's encouraging. I was asked a while ago, did I have any advice for the government shutdown? And I understand what it's like. You should try to get Uncle Si to make duck calls in the duck call room. I understand how hard it is. It's probably harder than running the government of the United States. The book of John tells us about the Lord's sacrifice and His Son for us, and you know, our oldest son's John Luke, and just having to imagine that kind of sacrifice is crazy. And I understand that because when I looked at, you know, my first son right here, and I thought, wow, yeah, it's just incredible what the Lord did. The book of Ephesians tells us that we are like adoptive children. So when we got little Will, whose name is Willie, when we got him, I understood another passage deeper than I'd known it before, to know that my son, I've got 2 sons, they look totally different. Little Will, he's wearing my shoes, he's wearing my clothes, he's taking all my shorts.
And he's 11.
He's 11. our little blind side. He is he's quite the little man, for sure. I tell you what, we made a decision years ago, and I keep stressing it over and over that we didn't have what we have now for sure. And perhaps if we make decisions like that, perhaps the Lord blesses us because of these decisions that we make. And we made a decision to bring this child into our home and give him a life that we weren't sure what would happen. And I'm not going to say it would have been bad. I just don't know what would have happened. I knew I felt a lot better with him in our home growing up with our family. We made that decision to bring him in, and we did it. We couldn't afford the fee to pay for it, and so we just had to ask them if we can. We're good for it. We'll come back, and we've paid it, by the way, and then some. But that's where we were at. I think if we wait till everything lines up perfect, it probably won't happen. There are times in our life when you have to make a decision based on faith, and we made that decision. We made a decision also to do a television show that we could sit down and watch with our kids, and that your kids could watch, that would be positive and not a bunch of garbage and stuff, and we wanted it to be positive. We made the decision to do that and to make that show. God has blessed that show. It's watched... was the most watched reality show ever, and I've done a lot of cool things in the past couple of years. I've been to Super Bowls, I've met presidents, I've been all over the world, but I still say this today, after all I've done, the best decision we ever made that made the biggest impact on our life was the adoption of our son, Will, and we're thankful for that. Thank you guys so much.